Alrighty, what is up, guys? Evan Aldo here. Welcome back. Please leave a like if you enjoy the content. We're going to talk about the Bitcoin, Ethereum, the DXY a little bit, and the S&P 500 a little bit today. So I want to show you basically, this time frame first, the 2-day, with the money flow and the VWAP coming down, which is a rare bearish sign in my opinion. Definitely a pretty big rare bearish sign because if you look at, even in bull markets, even in where money flow is coming down combined with the VWAP. The last time it happened was December 29th about, and just look at that drop down. I mean, this could be, we could see something similar to this drop down about 30 something percent here to a potential bottom in, the next 4 to 8 weeks, I would say, most likely sometime in January. And it is looking more and more similar to kind of how the beginning of 2015 played out. So that's definitely a possibility there. This would bring us right around 11K. That's a big area because it's your 500 weekly moving average at 11K. I think it's a very big area of historical support. I also think it would, make sense with the normal cycles playing out. That would be about a 83% correction, which is still a little bit better than last time. It's similar to last time, which, all the cycles are somewhat similar. So far, that's 84%. If you come in at 82, 83, it'd be pretty similar. And it could be even 84. Who knows? It could be the same. That would be, kind of the biggest thing, kind of the biggest irritating factor, frustrate a lot of people because, you just keep waiting and waiting for the bottom and you're like, oh, this is the bottom, this is the bottom, this is the bottom, this is the bottom. You know what I mean? And then it just, you don't need to be a super genius to, just get at the same correction as last time. You know what I mean? Sometimes we overcomplicate things. So yeah, and I also want to show you guys kind of the 6-day right here, and I want to compare this first to last time in terms of the money flow. Right here would be the start of the big place coming down. Look at that money flow on November 21st, 2018. You got the bottom in December 9th, and that would give us a bottom in a few weeks if we drop down a lot in the next few weeks. For that to happen, you'd probably need a pretty hot inflation report tomorrow. There's no way to really predict that. I think it's going to be, more of a hot inflation report. I don't think it's going to be good, but that's just a guess. I mean, who knows? It's hard to really say. And I think the FOMC meeting, I think Powell is going to sound more hawkish. I don't think he's going to sound more like he's pivoting yet. I think he's going to sound more hawkish. And, right here as well, if we look at this pattern in terms of that money flow, which this market's looked more like 2013. I don't think too many people are talking about this. I mean, you got your first top in April, your second top in November, just like the first top in April and the second top in November in 2021. And then you saw your bottom in the middle of January in 2015. So this coming January 2023 could be similar to that. It would be kind of crazy if it does play out the exact same way. I mean, history obviously rhymes and never repeats exactly. Very rare repeats exactly, but you could have a drop down. Now, I'm not saying you're coming down 56% in that amount of time, but if we, ignore, let's just say we ignore the, this random wick down here, it would be somewhere in the 30s. Ignore kind of that bottom. It would be somewhere in the 30s if you just don't have that, just minus out that last capitulation, which I think is kind of likely, and that would be that same drop down to 11K. 11K is my biggest guess because the weekly tends to bottom at, if you look at, I'll just show you quickly, 200 weekly moving average is where your bottom was in this bear market, also in this bear market, a little bit above it here, but right there. And then this was your 300, and then we're obviously well below that right now. That's up to 24K. Wow. But, 400 weekly is going to be at 13 something. I believe right now it's 13, almost 14K right now, 13.8. That could be a potential bottom. I think it will go a bit lower than that. And my kind of best guess right here, my estimate right here, right to that point at 11K, which I think is going to be huge, about 11.2 right now, 11.1. So I think that's going to be a big place, and I think that's going to be a potential bottom come in January. Now, looking at some of your lower time frames here on what could happen in the more short term, I want to go to the 23 hour and look at these split RSIs just curving down. Kind of rare that they stay this high for this long. It definitely hasn't happened within the last year, I don't think, at least. But if you look at these corrections for the split RSIs coming down, it's normally between like 10 and 20%. Usually 10% is the most, 11% right there. So 10 to 20%. Let's just see where 10% is. That's right to this spiral line pocket at 15.4. That's going to be a big place. If it's 20%, that's right to 13. That's probably right around your 400 weekly moving average that we could test if it comes down to there. And I think it will. And I think it could absolutely come down there, in the next week, especially if the Fed sounds hawkish, especially if the inflation report tomorrow isn't too good. And I think in the very short term, we may stay more sideways until we get that inflation report tomorrow, and then that may bring us down. In terms of entering a trade right now, I do have some trades open on BITGET. If you're interested in trading on BITGET, link in the description below. Really good promo, and I also have my exclusive Discord that I share some of the trades with. Keep in mind, nobody's ever right 100% of the time. You'd be a billionaire very quickly, but I do provide a lot of really good technical analysis and really good trades in there. And talk about analysis on the stock market and commodities a little bit as well, but it's mainly Bitcoin, Ethereum, and some altcoins. So yeah. But in terms of your 3 hour, this is a potentially good entry right here, I would say, something of this nature. And that could absolutely bring us down a lot more and give us kind of a jump up like we saw over here, or jump down, I should say, the opposite of this jump up. That's 8% about there. And then, let's see, 8% would bring us, to the bottom of this range, which you do kind of, see price tends to, stick to this area. So that could be big, the bottom of this range. High 15s could be big as well for a, potential jump off of there. And in the very short term, money flow coming up in the 30-minute, you could absolutely come back up to this area, 17.1, come up another $100. My guess is this is going to be a pretty boring Monday. Anything too crazy will happen until we get the inflation report tomorrow. We'll see though. And then Ethereum's kind of the same exact deal. Look at your VWAP coming down, your money flow coming out right here on your 2-day. This could absolutely bring us down quite a bit. If you look at, Bitcoin, the drop was about 30. Right here, the drop was, let's see, from this top to, this was about 44. So I do think Ethereum will start bleeding, quite a bit more against Bitcoin too, as we get to the later stages of this bear market. And, that's at 730 right there, but there's not much around 730. You really got to come down to like 600 to really hit some significant support. So that could really give us the next leg down into, end of this month into January. Absolutely possible there. And then, red dot in the daily, not a bearish div, but I do think it still will bring us downward. And this is just, look at this pattern, money flow high, a little bit lower, and then coming into the red. I think it'll kind of just come deep into the red here, and that could be a potential bottom into January, maybe even into February there, in my opinion. And then the same deal with the 16-hour split RSIs, kind of like we were looking at the 23-hour split RSIs on Bitcoin. So that's pretty big right there. It could bring us down, quite a bit here. It could absolutely be, probably best case scenario, something of this nature as 20%. Worst case scenario, oh boy, it's pretty low, 30%. Those areas, 20 to 30% right there. 20% is right at that point, 10.25. I think that spiral line could be pretty big. That'll be the first time we'll test that spiral line. That's my main guess. You come down there towards the end of the year, around Christmas time, instead of the Santa rally, you get a Santa drop down. And that's kind of what happens in bear markets. Money flow coming down here on the 4 hour. This could be a potential good short entry on that money flow crossover. And same deal on the 3 hour right there. And in the short term, just like Bitcoin, could come up a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be too much. I think we'll just stay sideways until we see that CPI report tomorrow. And let's look at the DXY a little bit. I'll just show you to you briefly. I like how the daily is getting another bullish div. I feel like one of these bullish divs will really give us the bottom and give us what we need to continue forward. Your 3-day is curving up with the VWAP as well. It could be kind of like this anchor wave, like over here, and you kind of just repeat this. You kind of repeat this jump up about 27% there to a potential high in about 6 months or something. If you come up 27%, that's right around 130. That's my main guess for where we could top out for the Dixie. I don't think it'll be that late in 2024. I think it'll be probably mid to late 2023, somewhere around here. See September, October, something of that nature, and that would make a lot of sense historically with where the S&P 500 could bottom out, assuming we go into a recession, which I think we absolutely will. My main view here is, you could have a double top or something. I don't think it's too likely. I think you're just going to continue downward, excuse me. But I don't think it's going to be, this coming into the red is not going to be this forgiving. I think it's going to be more like our previous two recessions, right there and right there in 2001, to bring us down quite a bit. My main guess is we're halfway through this. So if you're halfway through this October 2023, and you'd probably bottom out somewhere in the high twos, something of that nature. I don't know if you'll come down a full 50% here. You absolutely could, but there's probably a good shot you just come down like 40 for the recession. You know what I mean? 43, that type of area. You could absolutely come down farther, but for right now, I don't see enough of a reason to believe we will. I think for the NASDAQ, you'll come down farther. Definitely probably come down 50% at least for the NASDAQ, probably even higher. You could come down 60% there. I think it'll be more forgiving for the S&P 500, I think. So yeah, guys, hope you got something out of the update. If you guys are interested in some of my trades, check out the exclusive Discord down below. Also check out my link to BITGET, really good promo going on right now. Also, please check out my Twitch. The live streams are exclusively on Twitch. I'm going to be going live on Twitch later today, so stop in and say hi. But yeah, check all those things, guys. Please leave a like. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new. All right, guys, have a good one. Goodbye.